When we talk about stress resilience, we have a pretty good idea what stress is and how it works in the system, in our bodies, and so on and so forth, the hypothalamus, the pituitary, the adrenal axis, and all of that. Hopefully all of you know quite a bit about it already. But let's just explore this deceptively simple question. What do we mean by resilience? What is resilience? Because if somebody asks you, a colleague, a mentor, a student, a child, you need to have a fairly simple working definition, right? And so we need to be on the same page with this. And so we have instant advisors on the internet at our fingertips. And so I just Googled exactly that phrase, and I found 192 million instant answers in less than a second. What did we learn? The ability of an object to spring back into shape. That's a definition of resilience. You could relate to that. Think about a bouncing ball, think about a rubber band, et cetera, right? About elasticity. That is when you can stretch things, you can compress things that try to come back to its original shape. The greater that ability, the greater the elasticity, the greater the flexibility. Now, when we apply it to human behavior, the ability to bounce back from adversity more quickly and with less stress. So that seems like, okay, I need to be adaptable, I need to be flexible. That getting some words that perhaps give you a sense of this idea of bouncing back as an image, if you will, of resilience. How well one adapts to life events, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, that seems to be folded into this idea of resilience. So adapting and recovering, we've got a couple of dimensions, right? When the uncertainty is hitting us hard, how are we adapting? Just like one of you said, this is reality. Life is full of uncertainty. So we adapt, or we try to adapt. And then how quickly do you recover from the high stress and all of the anger, the fight, flight, freeze that happens? And so that becomes part of the thinking. Does it take moments, hours, weeks, months, years? What is it? And so you start to see a spectrum of possibility. People studied uncertainty in soldiers and realized, you can imagine the life of a soldier in active duty is riddled with that uncertainty. And they noticed that after periods of deployment, kind of had a bell curve of people dealing with uncertainty. Thousands and thousands were asked, and the results were tabulated in a study. And basically, I said, there are some almost like outliers at both ends. You think about a bell curve. Some just simply become unable to bounce back. They go into tailspin of sadness, depression, suicidal ideation, and so on and so forth. You may know the reality of suicides in the military. It's an astronomically high number. So that is one group. The big bulk of folks, they bounce back. And of course, there is a degree of difficulty. So that might relate to how quickly. Some might bounce. It also depends on the acuteness of the uncertainty, right? Is it a matter of life and death? Is it a matter of my next meal? Is it a matter of feeding my children? I mean, what is that uncertainty? How profound is it? What is the impact of it? What is the intensity of that, of the emotion that the uncertainty produces? And then some that recover quickly, some that take a little bit longer. And so you could get a range. And then there is a small group, again, kind of outliers at the other end, that basically start to see uncertainty as an opportunity, as a gift for profound personal growth. That becomes interesting, right? This idea that if we are going to become more resilient to stress that comes from uncertainty, that actually could have some profound implications on my personal growth that also impacts my interactions.